So the Ethereum merge was a success with no volatility, to everyone's surprise, but that volatility could be coming in the next couple of days, especially when you take a look at the Bitcoin chart and exactly what the price action is showing us. But on some more lighthearted news, Coinbase is releasing a feature that could be extremely important in terms of the politics and cryptocurrency world. And as always, if you want to skip around in the video, timestamps will be down below. So before we actually get into the Ethereum merge and the price action of it and everything happening on the charts, I just want to show you guys two really quick charts. So the first one is that Bitcoin has been growing faster than the internet in almost half the time. So it took the internet around 7.5 years to gain 1 billion users. Compare that to Bitcoin, it's only taken it 4 years. So this is just showing the insane growth of Bitcoin. Now before you say anything about it, obviously pre-internet things were a lot harder to research and to learn about, so that could be one factor, but still it's an amazing foot. And when we look at the Bitcoin hodl ways, if you're looking at this chart, I know it's a little crazy, but basically what you need to get from this is that over 65% of people or Bitcoin have not moved in over a year, which shows that hodlers are convicted to continue to hodl. And as we move on into the future, as there's less Bitcoin, as the halvings continue to come, Bitcoin is just going to become more scarce and more valuable. So onto the news in Ethereum. Obviously the merge has been a success. When we take a look over here, the merge happened at the time of recording this video 4 hours ago, and it was a success. I mean, nothing really came about it. There were no crazy bugs that we know of just yet, but again, that was only 4 hours ago. Now, one of the really important things that was big for the Ethereum merge, which again was another concern for the US government and basically the world, is the energy consumption used by cryptocurrencies, mainly Bitcoin. Well, Ethereum going from proof of work to proof of stake has now a 99.9% less energy consumption than it did when it was proof of work. And if you want to get really nitty and gritty down into the details, you can look over here on Cointelegraph. These are the exact details of when the merge was successful in terms of time zone and the terminal total difficulty that it needed to meet, and everything having to do with that. And one other really big thing from it going from proof of work to proof of stake is obviously the transactions per second. Now that it is proof of stake and it's running faster, more efficiently, and uses less energy, they say it should be able to handle 100,000 transactions per second, theoretically. Now, if this is true, this would obviously make it the fastest cryptocurrency on the market. As of right now, I'm pretty sure it's Solana saying that they can handle around 70,000, but we've also seen them bug out at around 30 to 40,000. And if you really want, you can go to this guy's Twitter. I have it retweeted, but this is basically the breakdown of how they would achieve it in these 5 simple steps. And basically this would make Ethereum untouchable by any other layer 1 protocols. But when we're talking about Ethereum, obviously one really big thing that everyone thought was that when the Ethereum mainnet merge was going to happen, we were either going to get a massive dump or it was going to go well and it was going to skyrocket. Now, in previous videos I talked about this a lot, and I thought it was a lose-lose situation, that no matter what, we were going to see a dump. But what we've seen is absolutely no price action. Now, over here was the CPI data, and we had quite a drop from all the way at the top right here at around 10% in just a couple of hours. When we're looking at Ethereum and the mainnet, literally its biggest event ever, almost in all of crypto history, there's been no price action at all. And one really big reason for this is because the price action hasn't come in yet. Now we're expecting some insane volatility, around $500 million in Ethereum options expiring September 16th. So what we have here is a call and put open interest. This basically shows us how much money is sitting in put options and call options. Now, if you're not familiar with this, a call option is basically if you buy a call, you're expecting the market to go up or the price of the asset to go up. If you're buying a put, that basically means you think it's going to go down. So the green is bulls and the red is bears. Now we can see the largest options open or open interest is the bears, and they're expecting Ethereum to drop in between the price of around 14 and 1500, which means they think it's going to go bearish. And that's where over 25,000 20,000 ETH is being placed on in terms of that bet. Now the next highest is the bulls right over here, thinking that it's going to fall in between 1900 and 2100. Now this is very important because when you're looking at how this could happen, basically this is kind of like a little chart that you can look at to understand if we're going bullish, bearish, what is going to happen in terms of, you know, the call options expiring. Basically, it's good for the bears if we fall in between 14 and 1500. It's good for the bulls if we go above 1800, and if we fall anywhere in between that range, basically it doesn't really matter. But it is important to understand that this volatility is going to be very effective on what Ethereum is doing in terms of price, because if a lot of these sellers do not profit, then what could happen is we could see price skyrocket to the upside. But if it does fall and get below their zone by the time of expiration tomorrow, then we could see a massive decline because the bears would profit from all that. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on the Ethereum charts because we have in the past couple videos, and as of right now, I honestly still think that we are going to fall no matter what. Now, it is important to remember that volatility is coming, so if you're day trading this, I would highly recommend staying away from doing that because bid and ask spreads are going to get crazy, volatility is going to get crazy, and as we look at the Bitcoin chart, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But as of right now, even, you know, best case scenario, I think we pop up to this 2000 zone and then hit that resistance and fall back down. But I do have some confidence that we'll come back down to these zones, maybe around 1400 and then maybe as low as 1200, and then at that point I just have a couple of buy limits set in there just in case we actually do reach those zones. Now, in terms of Bitcoin, I think it's important to understand what is happening with Bitcoin, and because right now Bitcoin is driving the market. Before we actually look at that, let's look at the DXY, and this is important to understand this graph because as long as the DXY or the dollar index is trending up, everything else is going to be trending down. Now, as you can see, we are in this very aggressive uptrend where we've had multiple touches, almost 4 touches, and maybe in the near future we could get that 5th touch. But until we actually break this uptrend, until we see something like this, then I would just expect risk assets like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and basically the entire stock market to continue to fall. And until we finally get some easing from the Fed in terms of interest rates, the dollar is just going to continue to get stronger because with CPI coming out worse than expected, we are going to see the Fed continue to raise those interest rates, and even Papa Powell, or, you know, the market is anticipating a 1% interest rate hike for the next one coming up. And to pair that with Bitcoin's chart, when you actually look at what's happening in the short term, we had this very nice uptrend that was happening for a couple months, and then we broke down in the middle of August, broke below this lower upper trend line, so to say. We kind of came back to retest it, depending on where you really want to set your trend line. I mean, it's totally up to you, but what you saw was a break and a retest of this, and this is a confirmation that we are going lower, because once you break this upper trend line and then you come to retest it and you have this massive engulfing coming from CPI data, the technicals just verify what's actually happening. So what was going to happen this entire time was that Bitcoin was going to fall again. But with CPI data and news just coming in correlation with that, it just confirms exactly what we've been expecting for the longest time. Now, when looking at this chart, you can only expect that Bitcoin is eventually going to reach this support zone at around 1750. And this is actually a really good spot to, again, see a reversal zone, or maybe have Bitcoin continue to break this support level and fall even lower. But honestly, anything below 20,000 I think is a really good place to just dollar cost average and accumulate your Bitcoin at a very low price. Now, a couple other things I really wanted to touch on is that Coinbase is going to educate their users on policies by local politicians on if they support cryptocurrency or if they don't. Now, this is going to be important because this is going to allow everyday users to understand what are their politicians doing. And maybe you may not like it, but politics and legislation is going to be extremely important for cryptocurrency in the near future, and it's going to be what really drives that mass adoption. So Coinbase adding this is extremely cool, and it's going to be awesome to see, the push towards politicians to support it, because as more people become aware of what cryptocurrency is, you're going to have more politicians start to support it, and you're going to have laws that favor the entire market. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is that the South Korean court issued a warrant for Terra Luna's founder Kwon and 5 other people. Now this is probably due to the fact that they basically went bankrupt. On top of that, they violated some Capital Markets Act in South Korea, which I'm not really familiar with or sure of. And then on top of that, when 3 Arrows Capital went bankrupt because of Terra Network, I'm sure that has something to do with it as well. But the reason I bring it up is because when you look at the cryptocurrency jail Kwon, it actually rose over 380% in the span of 24 hours. And this was coming off of the news that there was a warrant out for Do Kwon's arrest. So are we actually in a bear market? But that's everything I had for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to subscribe and comment down below for daily updates on this type of stuff. And if you guys have any suggestions on future videos, let me know in the comments so we can chat. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.